Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide. It's your guy Big Will, back with some boxing talk. Hey, listen, man. IBF welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. Recently did an interview where he talked about moving up to junior middleweight and possibly middleweight within a 2-year span. Now, the problem that I see with that is Errol Spence, his motto has been strap season. And we know strap season for Errol Spence means that he wants to become undisputed at welterweight. Now, you know, if I'm looking at this correctly, there's no way he can become undisputed at welterweight in 2 years, at least at the rate that he's going. You know, he only fought one time in 2017, which was against Kell Brook, and that was in May, and he didn't have another fight until January of this year against Lamont Peterson. And you know, he had that fight with Ocampo down in Dallas. So that's only 3 fights in the last 2 years, man. One fight in 2017, and as of now, it's October 1st, he only had 2 fights. So at the rate he's going, how is he going to get to that undisputed? You know, we have 3 belts out there. Terrence Crawford got the WBO. Keith Thurman has the WBA Super, and Sean Porter has the WBC. Now, there's no way that he's going to fight all 3 of these champions back to back. You know, he's going to have a mandatory in there somewhere, and the fight between him and Mikey Garcia, I think, is definitely going to happen. You got Richard Schaefer from Ringstar. You know, he's been in news talking more about it. A lot of people's talking about this Mikey Garcia fight, and I think it's going to happen, man. Richard Schaefer is speaking, you know, speaking on it very, very often. And you know, PBC, when they go out to the West Coast, they use Ringstar as the promotional company. And you know, just like when they come to the Barclays Center, Lou DiBella Entertainment is the promotional company for PBC. And Mikey Garcia, as well as Errol Spence, are with PBC. And you know, Richard Schaefer has a great relationship with them, and I believe that he would know, you know, what was going on as far as that fight. And the way he's talking is like, you know, this fight is going to come into existence, man. So if that fight with Mikey Garcia happens, let's say it might happen at the end of this year, okay, then, you know, he won't, you know, Sean Porter made it clear that he's not going to fight until the spring or maybe even the summer of 2019. So, you know, Errol Spence, let's say, fights Mikey Garcia on the Wilder, this is just hypothetically, on the Wilder Fury undercard. That's in December. So he chills out for the, you know, for the beginning of the year, and he gets the Sean Porter fight early spring, late spring, early summer. He gets the Sean Porter fight. Okay, let's say, you know, hypothetically, he beats Sean Porter. Now, what's the likelihood that he'll go right into a Keith Thurman fight or a fight with Terrence Crawford at the end of next year? You know what I mean? So everything is kind of iffy, man. He also said that, you know, he planned on moving, you know, going as high as 160. You know, but he you know, he said if he can get a guy, a smaller guy at 168 who wins a belt, he'll even think about going up to 168. So Errol Spence has got big plans, man, and these plans are in the near future. He you know, he stated that he don't want to go to 154 until Jermell Charlo cleans that up and becomes undisputed. You know, that's been their motto, man. That these guys from Houston, man, there's something in the blood down there, man. These guys are saying all the right things, and they're doing the right things, man. They said they want all the straps, man, and they're walking it how they talk it. They're talking it how they walking it, and they're showing up when they get in the ring, man. You know, these guys are showing up and showing out, man. And I believe it when he says that, you know, he's going to move up. So that may blunt his plans for the undisputed at welterweight. You know, fighting only once, maybe twice a year, within 2 years, man. I think Errol Spence would do really good at 154. Everybody always says that he's a big welterweight. We know he's a big welterweight, and I think 154, he'll be even stronger at 154. So the question is, you know, will Errol Spence still chase his dream of undisputed at 147 with all this talk about moving up to 154 within 2 years? Because in my opinion, there's no way that he becomes undisputed within 2 years. There's no way fighting at the rate that he's fighting once and twice a year. Now if he decides to fight, you know, 3 times a year, or if one of those other guys can unify, then that'll be, you know, more realistic. If let's say Keith Thurman, you know, he decides to go up against Terrence Crawford, and one of those guys become unified. Then Errol Spence goes in and fights Sean Porter, and he becomes unified. Then I could see Errol Spence achieving his goal at being undisputed at welterweight. But if none of those guys unify, then it's my opinion that there's no way that he'll be able to reach his goal of undisputed at 154. But I guess we'll just have to see what's going on. This is Big Will for Big Faces Worldwide. If you haven't yet subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I'll holler back.